In a recent interview, while I was presenting some scientific discoveries that may point to the existence of God, a camera operator, a young woman whom I'll call Maria, began to weep visibly. Later, she told me the reason for her tears. Like many young people, Maria believed in God when she arrived in college. But while there, she repeatedly encountered professors who insisted that based on the science, God was a myth.
Okay. I already have a problem. I mean, I went to college for, I started college immediately after high school. So it was 2003 to 2012. That's what, 12 years? No, 7 and 2, 9 years. I spent can't do math tonight. I spent 9 years in college, never had a single teacher whatsoever lay out an argument that God is a myth. Of course, I didn't take like any comparative religion classes. I didn't take any philosophy classes or anything like that. Like I didn't take those kinds of classes. But my point is that I never had this experience, and it turns out I do have, if you're looking for more information on this and how I'm not just pulling it out of my ass, check in the description. I've got a number of links. One of them is about how kids are not losing, college kids are not losing their faith due to teachers or due to college whatsoever. So it seems like my experience is pretty much the norm of not being quote unquote attacked by college teachers and professors about faith. Like it doesn't come up. So there's actually a study that I have in the description where they took a survey of students entering college. And they noticed that students entering college were more likely to, as time went on, were more likely not to subscribe to any one particular religious affiliation. It seems like college didn't really have a significant effect on whether or not they became more religious or sustained their religiosity or anything like that. So it doesn't seem like college is the problem. Like as far as colleges directly pushing an atheistic type of mindset on people or an atheistic view on people. So it's kind of interesting that he would paint it like this. Also, I call bullshit on this ever happening. I do not think that this ever happened to Stephen Meyer. I think that this is a sort of like a parable or just a story that he's telling. It could have happened. I'm perfectly open to the possibility that it could have happened. But considering how this would be a very rare occasion, using this to paint it as the generalized experience that you get in college, like I feel like he's trying to do, is it's a bit misleading in my opinion.
No more real than Santa Claus. Maria didn't feel equipped to challenge her professors. She eventually left college with nagging doubts about her faith and wondered whether life, including her own life, might be nothing more than a cosmic accident.
Well, I feel like this is something that everybody goes through, especially if you've left your faith, trying to compensate for being told your entire life that there's ultimate meaning to your life, and that's to praise God. And then if you deconstruct and you fall out of your faith, it can be a very jarring experience on occasion. It can leave you wondering, like, what's your place in this world? So I feel like this is a very normal reaction to losing something like that, or to leaving faith. You know, I feel like this is a very normal experience. Some people come out on the side where, their faith is even deeper. You know, it's been emboldened by whatever kind of deep thinking they did about what they believed and why they believed it. Some people become nihilists. That's not all atheists, obviously, but there are some people that become nihilists. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have this very clinically depressed attitude type of mindset. I feel like he's portraying his character here, because I don't think that this person actually existed, but I think he's portraying this character here as entering into this this time in their life where they're trying to figure out where they fit at in the world. I think that being in that kind of vulnerable spot, people like apologists will see that as an opportunity to like pull them into their own deluded mess.
Many young people share Maria's doubts. Indeed, powerful voices in the academy tell us that science makes belief in God and human significance untenable. Or as Richard Dawkins, the famed atheist from Oxford, has asserted, the universe we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, nothing but blind, pitiless indifference.
You know, for some reason, apologists love to pull this out like it's some kind of negative thing against atheism. The only negative thing about this particular quote is the fact that Richard Dawkins said it. I really wish that people would stop pulling Dawkins out. It's so frustrating to me that they always resort to using Dawkins or something that Dawkins. I really don't care what Dawkins said. In the correct context for this quote right here, he's talking about how nature doesn't give a shit about your feelings. Nature doesn't have some kind of moral agency to where it cares about whether or not you're suffering or any particular organism suffering. But they want to paint it as this like bottomless feeling of just meaninglessness. And the purpose that he's talking about is like ultimate purpose, like an transcendental purpose. Because like for Christians, the transcendental purpose to life is to praise God. And that's it. I don't think that nature has any of those properties of a transcendental purpose other than to survive. That works both for my commentary and the video, by the way. Okay, so this is from Dawkins' 1995 book, That the World That Science Discovers. Yeah, see, so the correct the correct context, as this person has put it in right here, is that the world that science discovers has no design, no purpose, no evil, and no good, nothing but blind, pitiless indifference. And the fuller quote here is, in a universe of blind physical forces and genetic replication, some people are going to get hurt. Other people are going to get lucky, and you won't find any rhyme or reason to it, nor any justice. The universe we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, no evil, and no good, nothing but blind, pitiless indifference. So it's very obvious that Meyer is pulling this out of context. He's trying to make Dawkins's word apply to, I guess, our, like a very human view of life. Like Dawkins thinks that there's no purpose to life whatsoever and all this, but that's not the context in which Dawkins is talking in. So it just seems to me like this is a very disingenuous quote mining situation that Meyer finds himself in.